My original plan was to review the past seasons leading to the underwhelming Nightfall's expansion, but I guess looking at the past isn't the right direction that people don't understand. Here is a few comments to look back before I delete the video on will the Destiny 2's final shape fail? Comment number 1. So actually the question, have you played Destiny 2 at all? You pronounce literally everything and it just cuts out. Well, technically I did not pronounce anything wrong. The only thing I did not pronounce right was apparently I said Oryx wrong, which it just happens. Instead of saying Sabathun, I said Sabathun. Comment number 2. This guy does not play this game. LMAO. Well, this guy actually has a name and he's called ItsBuzzer. Well, I actually do play this game. If you actually go to my stats right now, here on Steam, I have almost pretty much 1,000 hours. It's called a thing where if I don't speak, sometimes I don't speak correctly. I'm bad at reading, so it is what it is. It was my fault that I didn't go back to Google Translate and actually speak the word correctly instead of just saying it wrong, just like I did. But maybe I should do that more often. Maybe I'll have more videos like this in the near future, which gets more attention. We have another comment. I was a Destiny 1 no-lifer. Tried to stay on top of Destiny's 2 initially, but it quickly got bloated. Next comment. Sabathun and Oryx blood does not actually play the game. If you knew what I was referring to, you wouldn't have to put that in the comments. People try to analyze everything I did in the video and just like break it down and just type it in little comments quickly as possible and be like the first one to hate on in the comments. Oh, I'm sorry you didn't pronounce this right. Oh, I'm sorry you didn't pronounce that right. Did you even play this game? You did not pronounce that right at all. I'm sorry. How many hours do you have in the game? We have another comment. It says, bro, don't upload videos. You recap the story with the worst way possible. Just quit. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't make the video the way you liked it because, you know, the way I did it, you didn't like. So you clicked it and still watched it, but you ran in the comment section how I didn't do it your way. Well, let's try a new take on this. Destiny 2 delivers by picking a character, Titan, Warlock, or Hunter. They all have different abilities and supers. You'll be automatically sent to a tutorial mission. Pretty much teaches you the basics of how the game works and, you know, the gunplay and aim down sight and using your abilities and shooting down the enemies and the environment. It's the basic. During the introduction of Destiny 2, you'll be brought to this open world boss that's called the Walker, and he's pretty destructive. As you shoot him, he'll be stunned, broken down onto the ground, and then basically shoot him to you eliminate him. This boss is like totally optional, but just going through your first mission and just, you know, shooting that thing down, it feels pretty rewarding and you get loot for doing it, so why not? Anytime you get lost, you can actually just pull out your ghost here and it reveals the location you're supposed to be going. Whatever quest that you have activated at that moment, it will pretty much tell you where to go. Also, Destiny 2 has this cool feature that once you get an enemy low, it will have this glow effect, and this glow effect means you can actually do a finisher on the enemy, which is like actually like badass. It takes me back to the Halo days when you actually do finishers, and it was the most badass cinematic thing that you can do. And I'm gonna stop the gameplay right here. So if you look at the HUD right here, examine it real quick. The bottom left is where your abilities are and where your gun is and where your ammo is, and it gives you a little bar of where your passive actually ability is. And if you look at the bottom center, that is your XP bar, and the top left is the map. It tells you like these little red areas where enemies are, and the center left will tell you where your mission is when your quest has been updated. So once you open up your character, it's gonna be very confusing. You have your yellow power level. That is the main power level of your character. This can really limit to how certain activities inside of the game can really make things difficult for you. So if you're lower than the power level, you can pretty much get one shot in a normal level. But if you go something like over that current level that's recommended, you'll do pretty good as long as you have a good loadout. But while you're playing Destiny 2 and as a beginner, just make sure to pretty much play around the solar system, around these planets, and pretty much try to play around your power level closest to its recommended as possible. Because if you go lower than the recommended, you're gonna get hurt really bad. So this is pretty much where the free to play ends. You're limited to what you can play inside of Destiny 2, and here's why. 95% of the game is locked behind paid content, which means if you wanted to go to a specific planet or do a certain dungeon, you will need to have purchased that expansion or have a dungeon key. And that's why I don't recommend Destiny 2 to other of my friends, because literally if they want to play the game with me, they will have to purchase a certain expansion to access a different kind of activity unless we played the free content inside of Destiny 2. But to do most of the fun stuff inside of the game, you need to buy it. Here's a quick little example of what I mean by that. So myself, I own everything inside of Destiny 2 except for the final shape. If I wanted to go into, for example, Neptune and my friend doesn't have it, he cannot go in specific activity without owning that expansion. So which means I'll have access to all this loot inside of this expansion, including the raid. He would be pretty much left behind because I have the DLC. He doesn't, and you'd be stuck in that situation where you don't want to play that specific activity without your friend. So you go to play a different free-to-play section of the game, then basically it just gets bored and basically everybody quits. Unless you're forced to buy the expansions if they're on sale. And that's not all. If you want to access the dungeon for that season, you need to buy it separately from the expansion. Vanguard playlist offers missions that contain enemies, loot, exotics, enchants, and boss fights. You can do the same strikes on higher power with different mission modifiers that can make it harder but contain better loot for the player. Alright, Gambit. Gambit is actually stated inside of the game how this game works. So the rules are to win, be the first team to summon and defeat your prime evil. The moats, defeat foes will drop moats you can pick up. Watch out, if you die, you lose any moats you're holding. Then you bank them. Deposit moats you're holding in the bank, bank enough moats and you will summon a prime evil for the enemy team. Blockers, bank enough moats at once to summon blockers that lock the opposing team's bank. Invasions, as your team banks moats, an invasions portal will open, allowing you to enter the opposing team area, take them out to make them drop their moats. Destiny 2 raids are exhilarating in-game activities that challenge fire teams to overcome formidable obstacles and defeat powerful bosses. There are weekly raid rotations. Every week a different raid is a part of the weekly rotation. This means that the raid becomes infinitely farmable during that week and offer a pinnacle reward upon completion. So for example, the current official Destiny 2 raid for this week is the Guardian of Salvation on the Moon with a recommended power of level of 1600. The rotation includes various raids, each with its unique challenges and rewards. Featured raid weapons, raids not only offer thrilling experience but also exclusive raid weapons. Here are some notable raid weapons from recent rotations. And also raids will contain like exclusive loot and weapons specifically for that raid. So if you want a certain weapon that they got from that raid, you have to play that raid, then you can get that loot or Pacific exotic, whatever you want inside of that raid. And there's also master raid challenges for veterans seeking an extra challenge. Master raid challenges push fire teams to their limits. These challenges introduce additional mechanics and require precise execution to succeed.
If you know where you're going, you can go ahead and jump.
I'm fucking dead.
Austin's like, oh, I'm fucking dead. Damn, come on.
Holy shit.
So the first one's gonna be off to our right.
Boy, is
Good
that
damage,
that's,
boys.
yeah.
God damn it, them damn car control.
As long as we have one for the main damage phase. Damn. Everybody uses your supers. We should have waited.
Now stay where you are. Okay, this is it. This is it.
Yep,
let's
yep,
go, let's
yep,
go.
Yep, yep. Come on, boys. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Let's fucking go.
Yes.
Good shit, fellas.
So the Crucible, this is the one game mode I despise the most inside of Destiny 2. It's actually unfair and really unplayable for me because I despise it so much unless I go in with a crazy revolver that does crazy damage once hitting your shots. This Crucible, if you guys play Destiny 2, you guys know what I mean. Like, I mostly play PvE when it comes to Destiny 2. The Crucible is where Guardians test their meta against each other in intense combat scenarios. How are you punching like that? What the fuck? The physics of when they do that is just so broken. I healed. How'd you hit me? I healed. Not dead, dog. I hit you like 4 fucking times with the fucking revolver. The future of Destiny 2 is looking very promising. The final shape will be releasing this year along with episodes replacing expansions, along with new campaign, new destinations, and 3 new supers. Hopefully the wait will be worth it. Destiny 2 will also be adding another update to fill the gap of the final shape being delayed to Bungie and Activision layoffs earlier this year. This affects the development of the final shape and possibly Marathon, which is a new game from Bungie. If this game fails, Bungie or Destiny 2 could be in trouble. So it seems like the pre-orders for the final shape will be lower than expected due to its layoffs and it's being delayed, and especially after the Lightfalls delivered the underwhelming expansion to all of us, and it could be a risk of how people pre-order the final shape. And also it being delayed, they actually canceled all pre-orders for the final shape, which we're not going to know the exact number of pre-orders for the final shape versus Lightfall's pre-orders. But either way, I'm still excited for the final shape, either if it does sells good or it doesn't at all. And hopefully all this wait and them having time to actually develop the final shape and, you know, crispy it up a little bit before it actually fully releases. Hopefully it being delayed is actually going to be good for the content of the game, and hopefully Bungie changes the game, how the in-game events work, because it's basically this, every time they release an event for Destiny 2, it's basically the same thing. You do a couple quests, you complete it, basically you do bounties and you complete those bounties, and basically it's the same thing every like event they release. Destiny 2 in-game events or seasonal models need to change very badly. In Destiny 2, there's going to be, you know, new content for new players, but there's going to be content there. But for the OG Destiny 2 players that have been playing for a while, we all know how the seasonal events work in Destiny 2. And there's always a main area to get a quest and a cutscene, the blah blah every season thing, and do bounties and basically upgrade. Then you do a story quest, and it's also time gated. So every week there'll be a new mission. Then you do a couple of them, then you can't go any further because it's time gated. And if you follow up each week, the reason why Destiny 2 does this is because it gives players content for Destiny 2 without players completing everything in one session. So they spread the content out to make it seem like they're adding content, but in reality, there's just time getting it to make it seem like that way. I'm going to give you guys an example from a few content creators for Destiny 2 that does, you know, Destiny 2 and variety content.
It is get a seasonal quest. You do a mission when you start in with a cutscene. You load up into a screen that looks exactly like this, just in a different location with a different NPC. You open up an upgrade thing that looks exactly like this. You have a seasonal quest, which allows you to complete the first 9 or so steps. It's a long quest, and then it always time gates you. Every week you do a couple more steps. It's the same exact thing. It's a seasonal weapon that's fun.
So you play the seasonal content, you get engrams. Open the engrams, you have a chance to get red borders, and you take the red borders into Mars, the Enclave, and you basically use this to basically craft your own weapon. As you level up, you'll get different mods for it. You can create your own god roll for that weapon. The different planets to explore with different biomes, and the way each planet looks, Destiny 2 always surprises me with the amazing colors. There is not one time that I played Destiny 2 and I went to a planet and it's like I never once said that it felt like I've been here before. You can also customize your character the way you want it as you're playing other activities, doing strikes, raids, dungeons, whatever kind of gameplay you're doing inside of Destiny 2. You can earn loot and pretty much change the character, what it looks like, but you gotta watch out for the armor pieces that you get because if they're lower than your power level, you can be underpowered for some of these activities. So make sure you're choosing the right gear that's leveled with your power level so you can actually, you know, be on top of the game when new stuff comes out so you won't be under leveled. The best chances of getting exotic drops is going into a Nightfall, which is the Vanguard playlist, and selecting a higher power level, which is going to be tremendously above your current power level, and that's what makes it hard. There's going to be barriers, there's going to be unstoppables, and these enemy types are pretty much more harder, and you have to use different weapons to basically break their shield. You can also ride a Sparrow, which you can use Sparrows to pretty much ride around the map to get to point A, point B much quicker. There's also a ship that you can only see when coming into the map or traveling to a different destination. It really doesn't really affect anything except show it off in the lobby when you're just waiting for your next game to start. But other than that, I think the ships are just pointless. But the sparrows are pretty cool because you use those you get around the map more quicker. I thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to check me out while I'm live streaming, I stream on YouTube here on YouTube. Also live stream on Twitch. I actually stream on 3 different platforms. I stream on Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. Mostly 100% of the time at the same time. So if you guys want to go check those out, link in the description. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification to never miss a video. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, Guardians.